All right, here we go. Facebook was not cooperating with us on the desktop, so we're on the phone instead. All right, so it's Friday, August 14th. If you can believe we are in mid-August. Still have not had a COVID-related death here in Lackawanna County for nearly a month, which is great news. But we still do have cases, and we are anticipating a tough fall. So we're still making sure that we are doing everything we can this summer to prepare for the fall and the winter time, and hoping that we can still be encouraging people and making it just normal to be wearing masks and social distance, so that that muscle memory is just there as we approach cold and flu season, which is going to be tough. We saw the school districts and the governor making some announcements this week about schools, so I think it's excellent that we have some more certainty around what the fall will look like for our kids, which is good news. I think at this point, virtual, not virtual, hybrid, it's really about letting parents and kids plan, letting teachers plan, letting administrators plan for what's coming. So I'm glad to see some of that has come together. So we've got some folks here at the city that are working on looking at the data and trying to understand from the Department of Health where we're getting our data, how we're getting our data, can we get more data? We still don't get enough COVID-related data, and we're still pushing to be able to get more of that, to be able to get quicker testing, to be able to understand what's happening with contact tracing. So the governor's Department of Health is running the contact tracing. We're trying to get our arms around where that's at and what we can be doing. So we'll hope to maybe have some more updates for you next week when we have this session. In the meantime, we've continued to have our Scranton Together neighborhood initiatives. This week on Monday we were at Beach and Cedar. Wednesday I got to go to that one. That was Maple and Remington. And on Friday right now, Hickory and Prospect. So this week doing a lot of work in Southside. Coming up on Monday, 9 to 12, we'll be at Sanderson and Green Ridge. So the Scranton Together neighborhood initiative has been really, really great. We're bringing basically all of our departments, most of our departments, to the different neighborhoods. We have a tent for the city where you can file a complaint about a blighted property in your neighborhood, for example, or a sign that needs to be replaced. The complaint form goes to our licensing inspections department, and we try to follow up with that as best we can for short-term fixes. Longer term, for blighted properties, we're working on a new system and process to be able to better address those things from a holistic standpoint, from legal to economic development department to our licensing inspection. So it's going well. We're really excited. We've gotten, I think, dozens of complaints about blight, which a lot of those properties are already on our list, but we are getting new ones and checking those out while we're in the neighborhood, so that's great. We've been able to distribute over 100 safe reopening packets to businesses and organizations. That's been great, so thanks to my interns on that. I gotta plug my phone in just a moment, please. Nice long cord here for this purpose. All right. And okay, so Scranton Together, we've given out over 300 recycling bins. We've met with more than 150 residents so far. So it's been a really cool thing. I love going. It's been the highlight of my week the last couple of weeks to be able to do this. So thanks to the team for continuing to do a great job with that. I know it adds work, but that's the whole thing, right? If we go out and we seek the complaints, we seek the issues, we can address them and be really able to tackle these things from a methodical way. So part of this is to make sure that we can not just do patchwork fixes around the city. We'll never get there if we just do patchwork, fix this. We need to come in at the baseline, understand all of the needs, figure out where our processes look like, and start from there. So have a great team working on all of those things. And again, thanks to the team that's out there right now. They'll be out there for another couple hours at Hickory and Prospect, or Monday at Sanderson and Greenridge. And we have posted the August dates. There are more dates in September. If you can look at my map here. So we've got pins. This is all the August dates, and we'll be putting up the September ones once that schedule is set. So let's see, we've got a Housing Coalition's needs survey, which is something that you can help. Our team will post a link to the survey after the town hall. So the Lackawanna COC is conducting a housing survey to determine how best to allocate future funding. A portion of the funding is to be distributed through the city's COVID CARES Act ESG funds. The survey is for renters and homeowners, as well as property owners and managers. The more people that participate, the better results we'll get. So please go to the link that we post after the town hall and respond to that Housing Coalition Needs Survey. That's a great thing. In addition to the housing survey, we still absolutely need people to be responding to the census. We are down. We are only at 56% response versus a statewide average of 66%. It is very stressful to think that we will not be counted fully. Our team, the Census Bureau, federal employees, UNC, all of our partners, the library, we have such great partners across the city. We're all doing what we can. Friends of the Poor has been helping. We're trying to do whatever we can, but those numbers are still down. Please answer, or if you have anybody in your neighborhood that you think might not have, please give them a call and remind them. It's so important. In the same way that the Housing Coalition survey is a time to advocate for what funding we need, the census is, and then registering to vote. So those things all are kind of in the same bucket of making sure that every resident in Scranton that's eligible to vote, every resident in Scranton from babies to however old are counted in the census. This is all to make sure that we get the funding that we need and that we're all participating in the democracy that we hold so dear. This is great. On the health front, Scranton High and the Wright Center are partnering for a vaccine clinic. There was one this past Tuesday, and there's another one coming up on September 1st from 3:30 to 6 p.m. There's more information on our social media pages. I'm sure the school district is posting in the Wright Center as well. So vaccine clinic there, and that's part of what we're preparing for, is making sure that the vaccine for the flu is something that's really accessible, and then ultimately, hopefully, a vaccine for the coronavirus would be something that we can get out pretty universally and have it be accessible to people. Okay. All right. Let's see. We'll get to questions in a second. I know there are a lot of questions today. So rent and mortgage assistance for Lackawanna County residents. There is the CARES Rent Relief Program. Applications are due by September 30th. You can go to lackawannacounty.org to get more information. It's really a great program. There's rental assistance, there's mortgage assistance, and you can understand if you might be eligible for that. So make sure to go to lackawannacounty.org for that information. We also have some legal services information which might be helpful. So it's free civil legal aid for people facing foreclosure. Your household income must be at or below 250% of the federal poverty line. You can contact North Penn Legal Services at 877-953-4250. So again, North Penn Legal Service is 877-953-4250. We'll post more of this information about the rent and mortgage assistance on the website and on social media, and try to keep pushing that out for everybody. I know this is a big issue, especially with the eviction stay set to expire pretty soon. Okay, in terms of food services, as always, 211 will get you connected to a variety of services. St. Francis Kitchen began serving evening meals Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 to 6. We still have the Department of Agriculture Senior Farmers Market program. That's a really, really cool program. You can call the Lackawanna Area Agency on Aging at 570-963-6707 or pick up an application right here outside of City Hall on Dix Court. There's the little pamphlets area there. Friends of the Poor emergency drive-through giveaway this week. It was at Parker Hill Church. Next week they're taking a much-needed break. The following week, Wednesday, August 26th, will be the next food distribution. It'll be Wednesday, August 26th at Scranton High School. Keystone Mission and Salvation Army continue to give out information. Okay. For the 2020 election, sign up to receive a mail-in ballots. We have to think about what it's going to be like in November. It's going to be cold and flu season. And I think a lot of us are going to not want to be going out to the polls. So make sure that you're applying for your ballot application. You can do it online now. It's votespa.com. You can get that mail-in application, fill it out, and get a ballot sent to your home so you can vote by mail. I already see a question about USPS. Colin is asking, how worried are we about voting by mail with the USPS issue? So I have reached out to some friends of mine that are working on this issue from a statewide level, just a pure voter access level. And the information is coming in pretty quickly. So I think right now we don't know a lot. It's a really hot political issue. So I think we should just avoid the noise, not worry about the noise, and just get those mail-in ballot applications sent in. And then as soon as you get your ballot, make sure that you are filling it out and returning it with plenty of time to go before Election Day. So the biggest hedge against anything that may or may not be going on with the Postal Service is to just get that mail-in ballot application early, get the ballot early, and get it back into the county. So let's see, a lot of streets and and a visit. So we at the city, to my knowledge, have not gotten any word from the president's campaign about coming to the city. I believe I've read that he's going to the airport. That's not something that's an official report that I have gotten. No one from that campaign has reached out to us about coming into the city itself. So perhaps it'll just be one of those airport stops, but we have not gotten any information from that. Jason's asking about the security costs. So when it was with Fox News town hall in March, I think it was early, like the week before COVID really hit. The president came and it was about a $27,000 cost to taxpayers. So we've got that out, and we have to do that tally as well for the Biden campaign for their stop last month. So we definitely send these costs to these entities and see if we can get reimbursed. I'm not super bullish on getting the funding reimbursed from Fox News or these campaigns. I certainly hope that we'll be able to get reimbursed. We will send those bills, and we'll keep following up. Traditionally, those campaigns have not been not sent in the funds, but we will certainly try to do that for the taxpayers of Scranton. But to date, I am not aware of the president actually coming to the city of Scranton. He might be going to the airport, but to date have not been told about anything in the city. Okay, and then Marissa is asking, what can we do about the city streets in Southside? My roads are crumbling and taking a toll on my car. Marissa, we feel you. We have a lot of really bad roads, and we are going to work on paving those. We are a little bit behind on paving this year because of COVID and not being able to do work. Construction work was stopped for months, and the paving all over the country is on hold, or not on hold, but has been held up. It's more expensive than to get a contract. We determined that it would be too prohibitively expensive for us to do it this fall. We do have some paving that was already in the works, though, through OECD. I would say the best thing to do, email our Scranton 311 at scrantonpa.gov with the streets that you think are in the worst shape. We're keeping a database of all of that, so as we plan our paving, so we're sending out a contract or a bid now for paving in the spring. We want to know what streets are the worst. We'll have that inventory of complaints and be able to help. That'll help inform our plans as we go forward. So it drives me crazy too. In Oregon, roads just aren't bad like this. I don't really understand it. It's just crazy to me. We have winter in Oregon too, so I don't know why it's so bad. But we're little by little we'll fix it. And that what we're doing in the meantime while paving is we're not there in terms of being able to pave every street. We're working on the street signs themselves. So we've replaced over 110. I think it's more stop signs. We're starting to replace the actual street signs. We have a great database that shows the deterioration of the signs, which ones are critical. It kind of goes, red, yellow, green, like critical, and making sure that we can fix those signs over time. It's going to take a while, but those signs have to. You need a sign. Let's make sure there is a sign. It's also make sure that there is a sign that's reflective, that EMS, that police, that fire can identify in the middle of the night and they can know where to go. So this is a public safety. The signs are a public safety issue, really even more so than the paving. We have to be able to know where to go. So that's very important, and that project is underway. Okay, so Michelle is asking, why? Oh, sorry, I missed the first question from Iris. Iris asks, will you stop Trump from visiting to avoid a crowd in the city? So Iris, we again haven't heard anything about the president actually coming to the city. If he is coming, we'll do what we've been doing with every group that's organizing a large event by contacting the organizers and emphasizing the size limits of crowds from the governor's order and emphasizing social distancing. So we've done that with all of these large gatherings, and we're in touch. Let me proactively say that we are in touch with the university. They're concerned as well as we are about students coming back and wanting to party. We've made it very clear what the rules are. They've been very clear with their students what the rules are. So that's a concern. And same thing. We have to talk to the organizers, but we also, if the president's visiting, we'll have to talk to them. But I don't have we'll have to get to that. We'll meet. We'll figure that out when we see it. But it's tricky right now with COVID, right? It's really, really tricky. And I would just hope that any organizer of any event is going to follow the rules that the governor's put forward. All right, so back to Michelle. Why can't the police start ticketing the 1600 block of Price Street? They are parked so close to the corners of both sides, you can't make a turn. Okay, so I didn't know about this issue, so I don't see why we can't take a look at it. So I'll add that to our list. Yeah, if people are parked too close to the stop signs, that's absolutely a violation. All right. Oh, and another follow-up from the talk last week about student loans. We are trying to get somebody on here to talk about student loans, student debt, and what services might be out there to help students get through this crisis. So I'm forgetting the gentleman who asked about that, but we have taken that need seriously, and we'll get back and have somebody on here to help us talk about that. Norma asks, when City Council resumes in September, will we be able to gather in the council room? Norma, I don't know the answer to that question. I'm not sure. I could use some more human interaction myself. I'm not sure what council will decide to do on that. We have been really continued to be wary of having open public meetings here because right now there's a limit of 25 people indoors, and it would be difficult. I won't speak for council, but for boards and authorities who have asked us, we can't guarantee that not more than 25 people will want to come to a public meeting, so it makes it very, very difficult to say, yes, go ahead and have it here, because I don't want to be in a situation where person number 26 wants to come into the public meeting and they're not allowed, then I'm not allowing them to see the public meeting. And so it gets really tricky there, but I hear you, Norma. Okay, so Jason, I'm not ignoring you. I'm going to come back to you, okay? Daniel asks, how do we report a COVID violation? The guidelines on the city's website detail the response procedure, but there's no link or email. That should not be the case. We do have a complaint form, and I thought there was an email on there. So we will note that. Okay. So in the meantime, you can send Scranton 311 an email. So Scranton 311 at scrantonpa.org if you have a complaint about a COVID violation. I'm sorry that that's not on there. That should be on the website. We'll make sure that that's up. But yeah, Scranton 311 is it's a bit of a catch-all. Okay. So Jason is asking, why have all the ODs been ignored? There were 20 cars on the radio in the last 2 days. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean by ignored, Jason. I think if you could maybe talk a little bit more about that. So I'll tell you the Scranton Police Department is very aware of the issue that's happening right now. We have a spice problem, and I think the PD is definitely aware of that. But if there's something that you think should be happening that you don't think is happening, please send me a note. I'm happy to look at that and try to understand that. Okay, so Donna's asking about the Social Security office. I don't know the answer, Donna. That one's a federal. I think that's a federal office. So you'd have to. We can try to find out, but it's not under us. So, okay. So Bernie. Okay, cool. So Bernie, hi, how are you? We are actually working with our law department to start a volunteer corps. Of course, everything's got a legal angle and an insurance angle to it. But part of what we're doing at these neighborhood initiatives is taking down names of people who would like to volunteer, especially out in our neighborhoods, maybe at our parks, and help. We try our best with the Parks Department. We could do better. I know we can do better, but we also need help. We only have 7 people to take care of about 30 parks. And so, Bernie, my team that's on the line here will take down your name as a volunteer. We appreciate that very much. We do have a lot of people that I think are willing to help. We, of course, on our end, need to make sure that we've got the legal and insurance liability pieces straightened out before we start that. But we definitely want to do a volunteer corps, and we appreciate so many people in the community that have stepped up and raised their hands, said, I'd love to help. So thank you. I see Laura asking about trash fee. Yes, our Treasury office is open. At the front, you can walk in off of Washington, or if you need an ADA ramp, you can enter on Dix Court. There's actually a camera there, so someone will have to come let you in, but there is an accessible entrance in Dix Court that's open from 8 to 4:30 every day. So 8 to 4:30, you can pay the fee in person. However, we're no longer accepting cash. So thank you, Sharon. See, I love this. All those volunteers. This is great. Sharon Lee for the win on volunteering. So Laura, 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday, no cash. We can take check, money order, and now we do have an ability to pay by credit card. Okay. Yeah, so Craig, to your question, same thing, that volunteer corps, we do want volunteers, and we just have to be careful on the liability side, so we're working on that. But anything that's really a true immediate safety hazard, please email us at Scranton 311, so that we can address that. I get those types of things where we try to address those. There's today, I think it's today, that we're getting mulch in at Connell Park. Someone flagged that there was. It was actually like very clean and nice, but there's a gap between the kind of a step down into the play park, and it needed to be mulched so that it was kind of dangerous for kids. So I really appreciate the community flagging these things for us so that we know that they're there. Yeah, lots going on this summer, right? Scranton is kind of we're kind of the hot spot right now, in a way. Lots of foreign press is calling, wanting to do interviews, and I just don't have time to talk to them all. So you might get stopped on the street out there and get asked some questions by some foreign press. So please wear your mask and demonstrate that Scranton is following the mask orders. But yeah, I don't have time to talk to all these foreign press, so it's interesting. So when you're walking out in your neighborhoods or downtown, you might get stopped by somebody from Barcelona or something. So it's an interesting time to be in Scranton. But what we're trying to do is use it as a way to showcase our future and showcase how forward-thinking we are here in the city. So what'll be cool is I see Connor's on the Scranton Fringe Festival. The very, very well choreographed, distanced Fringe Festival will be going on here while we have all this national attention. So that's going to be a neat thing. All eyes are on us, and I appreciate all of you continuing to set the examples by wearing masks and talking forward looking, that we're doing all these things as a community to help improve our city, help bring us together during this crisis, and really, really look forward to the future. I mean, we talk about working from here. There's even more people that I'm hearing now that are staying with friends, that are staying with family instead of being in a city, working from home, getting back to their roots a little bit, or people that are newly moving here wanting to be able to be in a home by themselves as opposed to apartment building in New York or something. So I think it's good. I have couple of things I see. So Jason, Scranton 311 at scrantonpa.gov is the best way to do that. My team that's on the line will see that, and they can copy me, and we can talk about the drug situation. And then on the foreign press, it's because the presidential candidate Biden is from here, so everybody wants to do a story about the vice president's hometown. So that's why there's so much foreign press here. The vice president mentioned Scranton a lot, so the people it's an easy story to then come and want to do. So it's also, and this is why I think we really, for economic development can get there. We're only 100 miles from New York, and we're not very far from DC. So if you are a editor at one of these foreign bureaus, you look at Scranton and say, oh, it's only a day trip, so it's cheap to send your reporter here. So we appreciate all the press coming. I just can't have all these conversations myself, but again, if you get stopped on the street, let's talk about all the great things that are happening in Scranton and all the cool parks we have. And yes, we have financial issues, and yes, we need more roads paved, and yes, we've got street signs that need to go up, but we're working on all these things. I appreciate working on all these things together with all of you, and especially need to also thank everyone at the city, all of the administrators that are here at City Hall, all of the administrators that are all across the city. We've got, of course, police and fire and public works, and we've got everybody that's out really on the front lines. We also have all the folks that are making all the trains run, meeting payroll every week, doing all of those things. It takes a lot, and all eyes are always on us. So I really appreciate everybody that works for the city and all of you for working with us. I do see a couple of okay, so Ray's asking about 519 Maple Street. So yeah, so we can so my team that's on can take that down and get that to our code enforcement department, and we can take a look at that. A lot of these that come up are something that we're aware of, but a lot aren't. So it's great to have that interaction. So We are trying. None of this stuff gets fixed. Well, some things are able to get fixed overnight, not everything, right? So we can cite people, and in terms of getting all the way to a demolition or something, that takes time because there's certainly a legal procedure with that. But Ray, thank you. We'll check out 519 Maple. Okay. All right. If that is, okay, I don't see any more. I'll give it another minute. It's really fun to be on here with you guys. I know that I've been talking to a lot of mayors this week from across the country, and a lot of mayors are doing a similar thing. And we talk about how great it is for us because we can't always be out in the community like we usually are because of COVID. So we can at least do this. And then by being able to go out to these neighborhood initiatives, I've been able to interact a little bit more with the public. I really miss going to the community centers. I miss going to events. I miss going to a variety, the range of things that we all get to do. I miss it so much. And I know you guys do too. I think we're in for a long fall and a long winter. I'm nervous about it. I think we just have to kind of mentally prepare for it and make sure that we're staying together and setting that expectation that it's going to be a long road. Part of what was hard, I think I'm still feeling from this summer, is it was so hard March, April, May. Then June and July and August have still been hard. And there was no break, there was no catharsis. This is just still going. So I think we just need to think about what are the things that we need to do as individuals and as families and community members to stay together. If you know somebody who's not online or doesn't have a computer, and you think that going into the fall or winter that it would help their mental health, social health to have one, maybe we can find some solutions for that, right? There's a lot of grant money out there. Sam, I'm not sure what your questions are about busing for non-public schools. I apologize. I have not been following. That busing issue at the school district. So that would be a school board question. Sorry, I just haven't been following that particular piece. I know the Scranton School District decided to go all virtual. That maybe your question has something to do with that, but I apologize. I don't know that. What is my stance, Jocelyn, on using city vehicles for city employees? So city vehicles are for city use only. That is very, very clearly stated in city policy. Same with gas. Those gas cards can only be used for the city vehicles. Those city vehicles are only used for city business. That is very much the city policy, and we track that very closely. So there's no more taking your city vehicle to the beach at the city of Scranton. And we're also, right now, we're doing an inventory of all the vehicles that we have, and we're looking at, are there vehicles that we have that we could downgrade to a different model that's maybe not as expensive. So, okay. Yeah, Sam, again, I am sorry I don't have the answers to your questions about taxes, or about the taxes or the school busing. So, yeah, so Sam, for the school district, you can email the school board and ask that question. I think they have a link on their website to get to answer the school board. Okay, 12:45. Thank you all very, very much. Please enjoy the outdoors this weekend. Take a Parks passport. We have some at Dix Court, or we have them at our neighborhood initiative, where we're at. Where are they right now? Let me say that again, where we are. So we're out for another hour and 15 minutes in Southside. Hickory and Prospect, I think, is where we are. Hickory and Prospect. So I see David. I see David wants to have a huge party when this is over. I hear you. I think it's maybe going to be in 2022, but I can't wait. I love a party too, and I think that's what we all need. In the meantime, we got to do. We just got to do this virtually. I've had a couple, parties on Zoom this week, and It's not the same, but we raised a glass to one of our cousins that's having a baby, and not the same, but at least we have technology. This would be really tough if we didn't. So, like I said, if you know somebody that doesn't have the technology to be able to interact face to face like this, like I think of my own grandmother, she's not really interested. So it's not everybody's interested, but if you know somebody who is interested, let us know. I think that we could probably find some sort of service agency that maybe is able to find the technology, like a Chromebook for somebody, or something like that. I haven't necessarily heard of this, but I just feel like that's got to be possible. As we look to the fall and winter, I really want people that maybe are not connected to be able to connect, because the FaceTime piece, FaceTime, Skype, Zoom, whatever it is, Google Hangouts, it's really, really helpful. So again, Hickory and Prospect until 2 o'clock. Monday we'll be at Sanderson and Green Ridge. Thank you all so much. Thanks for all the volunteers. We will get that volunteer corps up and running. We will get these streets paved. We will. It's going to take a while. It's expensive, but we will get them paved. We'll get these street signs up. We just put up a new stop sign. I stopped the other day, and there was a stop sign that was super faded. I said that it seemed dangerous because it was near one of the hospitals. The team got it done within 48 hours. So we're able now to like prioritize these things and get these solutions going. Some of the stuff's going to take a while, but we appreciate your patience and appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.